Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So what about a case where, I mean, there's someone who's probably been in the gambling business, use that word loosely, for a couple of months or years, and has had a string of, good luck, if I may use the word luck, because there are people who say that gambling is not always luck. You have to understand the mechanics of that. And they start having a bad streak, and how do you let them understand that, because that's actually what makes it an addiction. You keep trying to go back to those days when, at what point do you tell the person, this is not going to work anymore, you can't keep doing this, Are there ways to go around it?
So, I mean, most of those people, they're there looking for that next big win. So what happens is you win big one time and you think, oh, I can win big again. So it keeps going on and on and on, and it becomes this really bad and vicious cycle. And kind of what we need to understand is what happens in the body when you have this kind of impulse. So it's an impulse disorder that kind of activates the reward system in the brain, making you want to go back more and more, activating certain neurotransmitters like dopamine to want to continue to do this. So you don't want to stop, you continue on, but the way to really know that there is an issue is that you see a huge departure from the way that you used to act before to the current moment. So that's one thing that you need to really look out for. And if you notice friends or family members who have changed some of their behaviors due to gambling, then you have to start to think something needs to be done at this point.
Everybody can be wrong.
Exactly.
I hear there are two different types, the social gambling and a problem gambling. What is that exactly?
Okay. So when we talk about social gambling is something that is more benign. Okay, the betting isn't high. You're not betting a lot of money.
Probably just amongst friends.
Exactly,
game
exactly.
nights.
It's just like a game night. You do it once in a while kind of thing. It's nothing that is going to be, let's say, a detriment to your well-being. As with problem gambling.
Not necessarily a habit.
Exactly. Just something that you do kind of socially once in a while, just for fun. Okay? But when we talk about problem gambling, that's the issue that can lead to many detrimental things, financially and with your health as well.
Yeah. You keep talking about health there now.
Yeah.
Are we talking physical health? And how can that affect you physically?
Okay, so problem gambling, it can affect you both mentally and physically. So when we talk about the mental components of it, we're really talking about stress-related disorders associated with gambling, such as depression and anxiety. That's the mental health aspect of it. When we talk about the physical aspect of it, with any stress-related disorders, that can have repercussions to various body systems. You can have stress-related cardiac issues, gastrointestinal issues, so it can really affect major portions of your body. But the one major thing to be well aware of is that oftentimes when people have an issue with problem gambling, there's a high association with suicide. There's a high risk of suicide when somebody does have this addiction. So that's something that you really need to be aware of and really need to know about. If you have the knowledge about problem gambling, then you know the steps that you need to take to kind of slow yourself down and get the help that you need so you don't get to the point whereby you're thinking about taking your own life.
There's probably someone watching now going like, I beg Joe, there's nothing wrong with me. Is it possible to have a gambling problem and not know it?
Yes. So a lot of times with addiction, whether we're talking about gambling, whether we're talking about drug addiction, whether we're talking about alcohol addiction, lots of times people don't even realize that they have a problem. To them, in their minds, they're thinking, no, this is just something I enjoy doing. They don't really see the signs and pick up that there's a real issue. Yeah.
And, in Nigeria, we tend to call ourselves very tough and resilient. And, I mean, back in the day, we always swore that Nigerians could never be suicide bombers because we knew how to handle ourselves. We liked ourselves too much. We also claim that suicide generally is not a thing here, or depression. But we don't talk about those things now. So, do you see Nigerians with gambling being a problem and, almost an epidemic? Because, I mean, there are parts of America and parts of the West where there's a huge gambling problem and people have it and it breaks marriages, it breaks friendships and all of that. Are we there? Are we heading there, you think? Do you think we could have that issue here?
Absolutely. Anyone is at risk to have any of the problems associated with problem gambling, especially the mental health issues, including thoughts of suicide as well. No one is devoid of having that kind of an issue. So it can affect almost anyone. And I think the main issue is the way that it can kind of affect the youth.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, problem gambling, it seems to be an up-and-coming issue with adolescents and with youth. When we talk about the kind of age categories of who it actually affects, it's more so adolescents and more so males. And that's usually because that's a formative time in their life where they're, you know, kind of prone to more high-risk behavior. So they're willing to try different things that they wouldn't try before. So if they start at a young age, it can progress to something very dangerous later on.
So let's talk about how to help now, get out of this if you have a problem. What are some things you should be looking at doing?
Okay, so some things that you need to do. First of all, you need to recognize you have the problem, like we said before. And oftentimes, prevention is the major thing. So just having this discussion to talk about what problem gambling is, people may start becoming aware of if they have any of these signs and symptoms. But main thing to do, a lot of the times if you do have a pathological gambling problem, you're going to need professional help. But before you get professional help, a few steps of things that you can do. Okay, you try to limit the amount of time that you're actually going to be gambling. You try to limit the amount of money that you're going to be gambling. Talk to someone as well.
Yeah.
Okay, if
talking
you think,
is always a great.
Exactly, talking is a wonderful thing. If you think that you're having issues, you talk to somebody and let them know what's kind of going on with you.
Yeah.
Another thing to do is if you feel or someone has brought it up to you that gambling might be really affecting your life and kind of changing your personality, you can try to seek out other activities. Try out another sport, try out an extracurricular activity, do something else to try to get you out of that vicious cycle of just being stuck being a gambler.
All right, thank you very much. That's very eye-opening to all of you out there who are a part of this. Hopefully you're doing it healthy. Is there a healthy way of doing it very quickly? Is there a healthy way of being a gambler?
Well, I mean, anything that you do in life, you just need to be vigilant of how much you do it. And
so if you're a social gambler, it's probably just okay.
If you're a social gambler and it's not really affecting aspects of your life, you'll be fine. But if you're having and experiencing some of the symptoms and things that I spoke about, that's when you need to get the help. Thank
you very much, Nesochi. That's been very eye-opening. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a quick break now, and we will be right back. Please stay with us.